Mew, the genetic Pokemon that gets over access to pretty much any move in Scarlet and Violet via TM, move tutors, etc. There are a lot of crazy techs that you can run on Mew, and one did place in the top 100 of the last Stadium Ladder season last season, which involves the pledges. We're going to try an interesting Mew team with pledges and see how well it can perform. This team is absolutely crazy. I don't even know where to begin, but let's start breaking it down. First up, we have the Covert Cloak Mew that prevents the Mew from being affected by secondary effects like any Snarl, Icy Winds, stat drops, as well as the Fake Out Flinch. With the Synchronized ability, which is able to pass the status condition that Mew gets, mainly it's going to be Paralysis, Burn, or Poison onto the target that also affected the Mew, but it doesn't really work on Sleep for some reason. However, it is still an ability that could come up, I suppose, with the normal Terra type to help out against the Ghost type moves from the Calyx Shadow Rider, as well as the Lunala, with Expanding Force, Fire Pledge, Water Pledge, and Protect. Yeah, Mew pretty much gets any move in the game that it can learn from TMs, TRs, the move tutor, so it can be a pretty unpredictable Pokemon at times. And we're going to be featuring the pledge moves. So what are pledges? Pledges are combination attacks mainly learned by the starter Pokemon, and they have their own effects when used and combined into that single combined attack. As one of them is used, the other one will follow up immediately and go for that extra powerful attack. It's a 150 base power move. And one thing I learned about pledges is even if the Pokemon isn't from the same type of attack bonus, you still get the same type of attack bonus from the combination attack, even if it's not part of the typing. For instance, if I use it with Mew and Smeargle, it gets the same type of attack bonus, which definitely throws off a lot of damage calculations because I didn't know that before I looked it up. So it actually becomes a really powerful attack. It's a 150 base power when it becomes a combined attack, and then you get the same type of attack bonus on top of it. So it can actually be pretty absurd at times, and they have their own secondary effects that last for 4 turns. With Fire and the Grass Pledge, if you do combine them, it will be the Sea of Fire, which means for 4 turns at the end of the turn, you have residual damage of 1/8 to any Pokemon on the opposing side of the field that isn't a Fire type Pokemon. For Water Pledge and Grass Pledge, it creates a swamp around the opponent's side of the field, which means for 4 turns, they will be reduced to 25% of their initial speed, which is really strong. It allows for Calyx Ice Rider to really be able to sweep teams, and that's kind of the concept. The other pledge combo is going to be the Water Pledge and Fire Pledge. It's not available on this team because Mew has both of them and no other Pokemon have that combination. But the Fire and the Water Pledge do combine to create a rainbow effect, which means secondary effects will have a double percentage chance for 4 turns on your side of the field. So it's a pretty unique concept, and yeah, it can be really effective as that combination attack is super powerful with the Mew, same type of attack bonus, and Mew is one of the few Pokemon that do get access to those pledged attacks alongside the starters, and Smeargle, of course, that can trace it. So the EV spread here is going to be 228 HP, 252 special attack, max special attack to dish out as much damage as possible, 228 HP, allows it to pretty much tank attacks, a little bit extra in speed, not much to say. It's supposed to stick around on the field because Mew's a pretty bulky Pokemon with base 100 HP and defenses, and do as much damage as possible with the special attack investment. Next Pokemon we have is the Focus Sash Smeargle. Allows it to live a really strong hit with the Moody ability. It raises a stat of Smeargle by 2 stages randomly at the end of the turn at the cost of a -1, and another stat of it randomly again at the end of the turn with the Ghost Terra type, which is to help out against the Fighting type moves as well as the Fake Out with Spore, Wide Guard, Grass Pledge, and Spiky Shield. So a lot of this again is to go for the pledges with the Mew and set up for combinations, especially chipping away or slowing them down to be put into the Calyx Ice Rider range. And that's the idea of the team. You have the Spore, of course, to put opponents to sleep, Wide Guard to protect the spread moves, especially the Astral Barrage for the Mew, and Spiky Shield, of course, to get more chances to add a really good Moody boost. EV spread is pretty simple, just going with the max defense and the max speed combination, and that does give the Smeargle the best odds of surviving the priority moves, which are usually physical moves, and giving max speed, of course, that does affect it with Moody, which allows for +2 to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider, and at +1 you'd still be able to outspeed like Miraidon, Koraidon, the base 135s, etc. Next Pokemon we have is the Icicle Play Calyx Ice Rider with the As-1 ability with the Ice Terra type to power its ice moves even further with Glacial Lance, High Horsepower, Icicle Spear, and Protect. Yeah, this Calyx Ice Rider has no Trick Room. It is going a full out offense and has a lot of attack because it is max attack Calyx Ice Rider, because the idea is you want to be able to utilize the pledge turns because you only get 4 of them and really just dish out as much damage as you can and get those knockouts, right? The Icicle plate is to help and go for the offense and get those knockouts that might be surprising. 180 HP, which just allows the Calyx Ice Rider to tank attacks, and then speed creeping a little bit with the 68 speed allows you to speed creep other Calyx Ice Riders if you don't have to pledge up, but also just outspeed a ton of Pokemon in general, especially thanks to the pledge effect. It is really just a Pokemon that will be able to tank attacks and really fire off some really powerful attacks, especially if they don't expect the Terra Ice Icicle plate set. Next Pokemon we have is the Psychic Seed Entity, increasing its special defense by 1 stage when the Psychic Terrain is up. Psychic Search summons that Psychic Terrain with the Grass Terra type, which is useful to help out against a Mungus Spore, but also resist the Electric type moves, the Water type moves, and more. Psychic, Follow Me, Helping Hand, Trick Room. It's a pretty standard entity across the board. Set up Trick Room for your Cali Ice if you don't really able to see a pledge line. You do have Helping Hand to support the Cali Ice and your other Pokemon for dishing out as much damage as possible. You have the Expanding Force that you have with the Mew with the Psychic Terrain, able to do quite a bit of damage. Psychic, it's able to do a good amount of damage with that Psychic Terrain boost. And then Follow Me to help redirect the attacks from your other Pokemon. EV spread wise, this is kind of an interesting entity, and you might notice there's 8 EVs missing, and yes, there's 8 EVs missing in the rental. There are literally 8 EVs missing in the rental with max HP, 204 defense, 36 special attack, 4 special defense, and 4 speed. I'm not exactly sure what this spread exactly does, but across the board, it is a pretty bulky entity while being able to do some decent chip damage with Psychic, especially since it can take advantage of the pledge, and the Psychic plus Expanding Force can actually do some pretty impressive damage. So it is a bit more of an offensive entity, and yeah, a lot less than the physically defensive entities that we commonly see. Next Pokemon we have is the Choice Band Iron Boulder with the Quark Drive, which would give it a attack boost in the electric terrain with the Ghost Terra type to help out against Fake Out, as well as like Body Press from Zamazenta with Mighty Cleave, Sacred Sword, Cycle Cut, and Earthquake. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why it's Iron Boulder exactly, but I guess you have a move that can hit for Protect, which can be really nice. It can do a lot of damage to Pokemon such as the Incineroar while being able to hit opposing Cali Ice, because hitting opposing Cali Ice is a little bit troublesome for this team in general, so being able to punish those Pokemon and do a good amount of damage there. Sacred Sword is pretty nice for like Terapagos and Incineroar once again if you don't want to use Mighty Cleave, as well as the Steel types. Cycle Cut for the Psychic Terrain, same type attack bonus, and the Earthquake just if you need a spread move in general. It's a really interesting Iron Boulder set because it's 212 HP, so this is actually a really bulky Iron Boulder. It has pretty decent defenses across the board. 244 attack with an Adamant Nature to get the most out of its Choice Banded attacks, and just a little bit of speed with 44. Like, this is not a fast Iron Boulder. It outspeeds Adamant Max Speed Urshifu, and that's really it. It's just supposed to tank attacks and really just draw off a powerful hit, especially because you're using the pledge. You don't have to invest as much speed, but you have to make sure you get the pledges up so this thing can really go in if it is able to. Final Pokemon on this team is going to be the Choice Scarf Rillaboom with the Grassy Surge, which is able to summon the Grassy Terrain with the Water Terra type to help out against Ice, Fire, and Water type moves with the Wood Hammer, Grass, Pledge, High Horsepower, and U-Turn. Yeah, Choice Scarf Rillaboom. It is able to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider, so you can maybe ensure to pledge that way, or you can use Rillaboom as a endgame revenge KO against Calyx Shadow Rider, which is nice. You're able to outspeed Miraidon, put on a lot of pressure with the high horsepower. Fast Grass Pledge, which can be very solid for if you need the initial speed damage immediately, so you can bring in your Cali Ice afterward, because Rillaboom would probably go down since it's a frail set, and you can just fire off the Glacial Lances immediately. But across the board, it is also useful against the Miraidon. Having 2 ways to change the terrain is very helpful in that case. And yeah, it is going to be a pretty big powerhouse with that fast Wood Hammer option. Otherwise, pretty simple. You need max speed, Jolly, in order to outspeed Calyx Shadow Rider, even with a Choice Scarf. And then you want to just dish out as much damage as you can, so you pretty much go near max attack. So it is able to set up another terrain control to help out against Miraidon. And of course, allow you to Spore in the Terrain War, as well as the Choice Scarf can be a nice revenge KO because the team doesn't have any initial speed really other than this Rillaboom. So how to use a team? A lot of the team revolves around the pledge. I mean, there are a few different options that you could go for. You could go for like an offensive mode immediately with Iron Boulder Rillaboom, which is very rare, but it is potentially doable. You do have the entity Calyx Ice Rider, which is a pretty classic lead. Of course, you could go for like the Trick Room and just draw off a bunch of damage with the Cali Ice immediately. You also have the Mew, which is pretty common. Mew plus Smeargle is probably like one of your go-to leads because you have the option of going for the pledges, maybe going for this double protect first to potentially get the ability of Moody for a good one, so you can get a nicer setup. You also have like Mew Indity with the expanding force plus follow me or helping hand options, or even just going for the trick room if you really want to. You also have Smeargle that can lead with anything. Smeargle plus Cali Ice is always a big classic. Mew plus Rillaboom can get that grass pledge plus the combination attack with the Mew, as I mentioned before. And yeah, there's a lot of cool ways that you could utilize the leads. And again, a lot of this is like setting up the pledges to try and set up mainly for Calyx Ice Rider to sweep in the back. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Mew? Because I think Mew is an awesome Pokemon, of course, from the original anime, the manga, and all the forms of Pokemon. That I think Mew does have a lot of cool stuff in general that we've seen before. The movies were great. Like, I don't know what to say. I am a huge Mew fan. So let me know what you think about Mew down below. Otherwise, let me know what you think about the pledges too, because I think this team looks pretty dang cool. Especially if it got top 100 on the ladder, it must be decent. So we're going to be trying out and seeing how well it can perform. I know it's been a while since I played on ladder, but what the heck is this? Oranguru, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Miraidon, Ogerpon Heartflame, Terapagos, and Dragonite? Alright. What am I looking at here? Is this an Iron Boulder game? I want this to be an Iron Boulder game, man. I might just bring it just for the heck of it. I might just bring it for the heck of it. You know what? It's an Iron Boulder game. I'm going Iron Boulder. I'm leading Iron Boulder plus Cali Ice. We're just leading it off rip. Why not? Why not? Unfortunately, we're not really that fast, but you know what? We'll bring the Mew. We'll bring the Rillaboom. We're going to try it out. We're going to try it out because I have no idea what to expect from this team. Sure, I could go with like a Smeargle, kind of a safer route. It's kind of boring. I think we just do Iron Boulder, right? I think Iron Boulder seems fun. So let us see. They can't protect against this mighty cleave here. And I can always switch to Rillaboom to negate how much damage the Miraidon really does. We're going to see a Oranguru Terapagos. So this is a very interesting lead off the bat. Versus Cali Ice and the Iron Boulder. I'm just going to go for Glacial Lance and I'm just going to go for Mighty Cleave. I'm just going to attack. I'm just going to straight up attack. Did I target the Terapagos? I'd rather target the Oranguru because I don't want any Instructor or Foul Plays or any of that nature. So I'm going to go for a Mighty Cleave into the Oranguru as well as a Glacial Lance. So let's see what they have option-wise. Like, if the Terapagos attacks, Starstorm's kind of annoying for the spread damage, but granted, I won't go down to a Starstorm. I'm pretty sure Iron Boulder should be tanky enough to survive any attack. We get a Mighty Cleave off into the Oranguru. Look at that damage. That's pretty good. Calm Mind comes out, which is fine. Although I do have to respect the Terapagos and get rid of it as quick as possible because it's not easy for me to get rid of Terapagos. Glacial Lance, we're going to break that Terra Shell and KO the Oranguru. So we have +1 Cali Ice on deck, which is nice. Yeah, that's very nice. Okay. Goodbye, Oranguru. I mean, here's the thing about Calm Mind Terapagos. Unless this thing has Flamethrower, I don't think I worry about it knocking out the Calyx Ice Rider. They would need to double up in order to do that. Leftovers Terapagos, which is fine. This is Miraidon coming out, or... I mean, they have like Ogerpon Heartflame and a few Dragonite coming in. What? Okay. I don't know if that really threatens the Iron Boulder part per se, but I'm just going to go for Mighty Cleave. I'm going to target down the Terapagos, and I think I just protect Cali Ice. Yeah, I'm just going to protect Cali Ice. They have to respect the Cali Ice. I think they have to double it up, but if they disrespect the Iron Boulder, it's pretty bad for them because this Mighty Cleave's doing a ton of damage. I imagine Dragonite's going to go for Terastallization, but like, even if I lose Iron Boulder here, I get in Scarf Rillaboom, and I'm hoping that the Mighty Cleave puts the Terapagos in range of Woodhammer, though I am a little bit worried about, like, Miraidon switching later, but I guess we'll figure that out when we figure that out. Terapagos is going to Terastallize, so the Dragonite can't Terastallize anymore, which is a huge deal. Alright. They want the bulk on the Terapagos instead, which makes sense. It probably just went down to Mighty Cleave, realistically, now that I think about it, and Terapagos has the Terra here. We're going to see Mighty Cleave come out into the Terapagos. Like, look at that big damage. Iron Head into the Cali Ice, which is perfectly fine by me. And Terra Starstorm, which shouldn't KO Iron Boulder. I would be surprised if Iron Boulder went down to this, but we'll find out. That's a crit, but I don't think I'm in E-speed range because I resist it. I really hope that's the case because I need to hang on and I need to get a Mighty Cleave off into Terapagos. Ideally take the knockout because if I don't take the knockout, I think I lose. But we go for Glacial Lance, Mighty Cleave. Also, I don't think that's very invested Terapagos because I'm pretty sure a more invested Terapagos, like a especially offensive one, probably would have done more, I would imagine, to the Iron Boulder. Like, that was a crit. So, Iron Head plus Starstorm might not even KO my Cali Ice. Mighty Cleave. Don't KO. Maybe I should have targeted Dragonite instead, but if it was multi-scale, it could have been scary. Alright, if we get the Glacial Lands off, we win. This should live. Yep. Cali Ice lives easily. Okay. I was holding my breath there. I was holding my breath. Goodbye, Dragonite. Goodbye, Terapagos. That is GG. Perfect. Ooh, boy. Could have gone sour. Could have gone sour. But I should have the game 100% sealed now. We go out into Mew, I think. Yeah, we go out into Mew. Bring out Rilla. Okay, yeah, I know how the sequencing works. Actually, yeah. Bring out the Mew. This should be the Miraidon here. Oh, what? Brought Ursaluna instead? Instead of the Miraidon. Very interesting choice. But I guess I had double terrain, so they didn't want to play around it. They terrestrialized the Terapagos, so all I have to do is Water Pledge, I suppose, and Glacial Lance. Like, even if they somehow get a double knockout, I'll still win the game anyway. And I'm faster than the Blood Moon Ursaluna. So Glacial Lance gonna come out, take the knock on Ursaluna. Goodbye, Ursaluna. Iron Boulder. Just, too much of an obstacle, I'd say, for my opponent. That cleave was very mighty, I'd say. I don't even know what to say about that one. Maybe I could have targeted Dragonite. I think it was... I still think it's probably multi-scale, so I don't even know if that KOs. I don't know my Iron Boulder calcs off the top of my head. But the damage... I mean, even if I guess, like, I did lose there, because it wasn't, like, the Miraidon back, I'm pretty sure Rillaboom plus the Mew would have actually been enough to win the game, like, realistically. But thankfully, we didn't flinch. All right, we have Miraidon, Iron Hands, Koraidon, Volcarona, Whimsicott, and the Flutter Mane. I don't exactly love the looks of Double Dragon, but I mean, I have tools, I suppose. Mew plus Infinity actually looks really good here. It looks really good. I guess I'm leading Mew plus Infinity. I think Mew Infinity is really solid. Assuming they lead Miraidon, because that would make my life easier, but we'll see. I think in the back, I bring Smeargle, Cali Ice, I'd assume. I wish I had Redirection. Wide Guard hasn't really been super helpful here, I think. Unless it's Dazzling Gleam or Heat Wave, but I'm not exactly 100% certain. I could bring, like, Iron Boulder over to Smeargle, I suppose. But I might need a secondary form of Speed Control if I don't get Trick 'em Up with Infinity, and that would be the Grass and the Water Pledge, so... I think I need to have Smeargle as a secondary form of Speed Control more than the Mighty Cleave option. Because I do plan on going with the Trick 'em route this time, especially with Expanding Force, but we'll see how they go here. Like, what are they going to lead? I'm not 100% certain, but Expanding Force is looking pretty strong against this team. I guess if they lead, what did they lead? Koraidon, and then they switch to Miraidon and they Flare Blitz, it does a ton of damage. They double lead it. Wow, okay. Not what I expected. It works out though. So Miraidon goes first, which is important information. That means Miraidon's attack is going to go before the Infinity. This is either going to be Volt Switch or a different attack then. Expanding Force is just free. They don't have a dark type Pokemon here, and I get a ton of damage. And if the Koraidon wants to knock out the Entity, well, I mean, I guess I could Collision Course here, but they do probably... I mean, I think this is fine regardless. I definitely go for Expanding Force. The question is, am I going for Helping Hand, or am I going for Follow Me? If I read him to attack the Entity, then it's Helping Hand. If I read him to target the Mew, it's Follow Me. I think I'm just going to Follow Me Expanding. I get a ton of damage. I think they're forced to Terrasilize the Koraidon if they want to get a hit off in the Entity. They could protect Koraidon, which is fair, but then again, if I go for Trick Room, they're in a bad spot. No Terrasilizations is definitely an option that I don't think you want to do. They stay in too, no Volt Switch. So this is Electro Drift into my Entity. Doesn't do that much damage. And Flare Blitz. So they take Recoil and Expanding Force in Psychic Terrain. Should Oko the Koraidon, I'd imagine, I mean, especially after Life Orb chip, that means it should be Frail Koraidon. I think this should KO. Yeah, it just KOs Koraidon. Beautiful. Was not expecting that one, but I'll take it. Absolutely fantastic. Mew. Great spot. I guess I go out into Cali Ice now, or do I go Smeargle? I think I want to go Smeargle, because if it's Volcarona, that's a little bit annoying, I suppose. Yeah, I think we go Smeargle, because if it's Volcarona, I'm in a bad spot, right? Yeah. Okay. Can I just go for Expanding Force Spiky Shield? I feel like I can. I want to scout for what the Volcarona move is here. Okay, they switch out the Miraidon. That makes sense, but whatever's coming in is taking Expanding Force. Iron Hands. That is not appreciating this Expanding Force, so I'm very happy with that. Spiky Shield. Struggle Bug doesn't matter because I have Covert Cloak. The Fire type attack. I'm faster than the Volcarona. That's really interesting to note. Okay. Huge damage. Struggle Bug. Okay, perfect. I have Covert Cloak. Very nice. Very nice. Special Defense Rise and Speedfall's not great because I was faster than a Volcarona. Now I'm not. But Expanding Force is pretty free here. Are they going to go Miraidon and Fake Out? That is an option that they do have. I am debating about just going for the Pledge immediately. Because I do need the Pledge, I feel like, in order to win this game, so Cali Ice can clean up. I feel like I should commit my Terra if I'm going to make this play. Yeah, I think I do. I think I'm going to go for a Water Pledge and a Grass Pledge into the Iron Hands. Because, yeah, if they go for, like, this Volcarona switch into the Miraidon, this works out because they can't fake out my Mew because of Covert Cloak. And if they fake out my Smeargle, I get the Terra Ghost. So that means they can't fake out my Smeargle. Now I get the Pledge off guaranteed into the Iron Hands. And because I get that Pledge off in the Iron Hands, I'm now going to be faster than all of their Pokemon, which is massive. So that allows my Cali Ice to be put in a really good spot. Granted, the game's not over because they could stall out my Pledge, but granted, this is a really good position. So yeah, we bring out the Ghost Terra. They fake out my Mew. They saw Covert Cloak though, unless they think I'm Clear Amulet, but okay. I do get the Water Pledge and the Grass Pledge off into the Iron Hands. That does nothing. That did nothing. Oh yeah, because it's using my Smeargle speed stat to calculate the damage now. Yeah, they're calculating my speed stat from the Smeargle, which is unfortunate. Special attack stat from the Smeargle, because normally it's like the Pledge they calculate on who's slower for the damage output, but because of that speed drop, that's kind of the unfortunate part, is that now it's using the Smeargle. I was hoping to get the knockout, but I guess this is still fine. I get an Expanding Force and 3 turns of Pledge. I should be fine for the most part. There's not really anything I can do with Smeargle that puts me in a good spot. We're going to see Terastallization come out, which is interesting. Okay. From a Rhydon. All right. Into Fairy Terra. Does that impact much? No, it should still go down to Glacial Lance. I don't think I mind that too much. I do get the Spiky Shield off. And we should get the KO on Iron Hands with the Expanding Force, so they don't have access to Fake Out anymore. Are they going for Dazzling Gleam? If they go for Dazzling Gleam, I have Wide Guard, so I'm not really too worried about the Miraidon. It's really the... Okay. Ideally, I would like Mew to go down here because I would like the free switch. I'd really like the free switch here. Nice. Okay, I think I'm in a good spot to win. I'm pretty sure that I can go into my... No, I could have used that Speed Rise a bit ago, but sure. We go out into my Ice. We click Glacial Lance. We click Wide Guard. The only way I lose this is if Glacial Lance fails to KO the Volcarona and they have Overheat. Maybe Flamethrower would do enough, but I don't think Fiery Dance would. I think you need Flamethrower. I think Fiery Dance would miss, especially since it's supported Volcarona. And Dazzling Gleam should usually confirm that the Miraidon doesn't carry Protect. So we go for Glacial Lance and Wide Guard. All right, let's see. Can Ice take the knockouts? Glacial Lance. Knocks out the Miraidon. It's not enough into Volcarona. I really need Ice to live this turn. If we don't live the turn, it's game over. Do we live the turn? Okay. It is Heat Wave. Beautiful. If it was Overheat, we lost. If it's Overheat, we lost. Also surprised to see Heat Wave. Like, I was doing the Wide Guard. It obviously covered Gleam, but... Yeah, I'm surprised that's not like Fiery Dance or Flamethrower to deal with Zamazenta. But yeah, I would have had to take the risk no matter what. I just don't think 2 pledges would be enough to knock out Volcarona. But yeah, like, maybe I could have still had Terrain, got a few more grass pledges off, but I'm still also like -2 special attack. I don't think the damage output was likely, but yeah. We go for Glacial Lance. The last turn of Swamp, so if they have Protect, they could go for it, I suppose, but they don't have the Sun anymore, and I still have Wide Guard. So I just spam this, realistically. I'm going to be forfeited. All right. That was potentially complicated. But the turn 1 didn't really benefit them. I'm very happy with the turn 1. I'm very shocked that they went for that play, because... Maybe they just didn't expect me to go for Expanding Force immediately. Maybe they thought I was Trigger Mew, which I guess if that's the case, then maybe they were really want to save that Terastallization for maybe Iron Hands instead. But that just worked out huge in my favor. I was able to get so much damage, knock out the Koraidon, chip the Miraidon, and put it in the Glacial Lance range. The only thing that was scary was that Volcarona potentially. And also the speed drop immediately was unfortunate because I probably would have knocked out Iron Hands, I think, with the Pledge combo. Maybe. But still was able to pull out the game, thankfully. All right, we have Calyx, Shadow Rider, Zamazenta with the Cornerstone Ogerpon, Iron Jugulus, Electivire, and Whimsicott. Why is there Electivire on this? Okay, how do I want to approach this one? A lot, and I mean a lot harder. We do have double normal, which is going to be effective against a Shadow Rider, but granted, I wouldn't say this is an easy position. Gonna be a little bit difficult. I'm trying to figure out how I set this up to do well against... I mean, Trick Room seems pretty nice, but the question is, can I even set up Trick Room against this team? That's gonna be the tough one. I don't know if I can. Oh, this is tough. Is it Smeargle? I think it's Smeargle Entity, right? Smeargle Entity. The thing is, we're not like super defensive. I think we do Smeargle Entity with the combination of Mew and Cali Ice in the back. I don't really need Rillaboom in this matchup. It does, like, other than maybe Revenge KO and Cali, it doesn't really do much, I think. We kind of need the offensive pressure that we can have, and I don't think Iron Boulder is it. I don't think Iron Boulder... It could put on, like, some decent offensive pressure, but Cali Ice puts on the same amount of pressure, realistically. Overpawn plus Electivire is not what I expected. I thought it was going to just be Zama Shadow Rider. Okay. Interesting. Don't know what to say about this one. Don't know what to say about this one. Okay. They should well, here's the thing. Electivire gets access to both Lightning Rod and Vital Spirit. I'd imagine it's Lightning Rod from a Rhydon in this format compared to Smeargle Vital Spirit. I think we're just gonna go for Psychic. My Mew's not fast, right? No, I could Trick Room here. Trick Room's not bad. I guess Trick Room and Spore isn't bad because even if they double up the Smeargle, I get a free switch to Cali Ice, right? Or I get a free switch to Mew. Both work. So yeah, I think I go for the Spore into Electivire and I just Trick Room because I'll be put in a good spot either way. They go for Follow Me, which is fine. What's Electivire doing? Spore into the Follow Me, into the Ogre Pond. Oh, they have Taunt. Okay. Interesting that my Smeargle's faster than the Electivire. So that's actually really good information to confirm here. Trick Room wears off. Moody, special attack. Attack, that doesn't matter. Okay, so in unimpactful Moody. I go for the Psychic here, and I guess I go for Spiky Shield now. They're probably going to taunt my Electivire and Ivy Cudgel my Entity, which isn't great, but like it's doable. The thing is, my Smeargle is still fast in the Ogre Pond, so I could technically Spore them. So they might follow me here, which is also fine too. Let's see if they double up the Smeargle. They go for a knockoff, so they have knockoff. A lot of damage into Entity. Not really that much, actually. Taunt goes down to Smeargle. I mean, I could have Spored here, so that's fine by me. As I get a Psychic off into the Ogre Pond. Like, it's going to be respectable damage. Yeah, that's a 2-shot. That's a bad speed fall. That is a very, very bad speed fall because now they can taunt safely. Last turn of taunt. My best play is just to go for Psychic, I think, into the Electivire and swap out into Mew. Oh, that's such a bad one here. Okay. We go into Mew to take the taunt. Knockoff on KO. Wait, how did it KO? Oh, because right, it's not like an item. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait, but then again, it was just Psychic Seed. I forgot that they didn't knock off my Psychic Seed. That's okay-ish. Yeah, that's okay-ish. It's not the greatest position ever, but it's like a playable position. Oh, we go out in a Smeargle here. And we just click Expanding Force. We click Expanding Force Protect, I think. Or Spiky Shield in this case. Yeah, we're just going to Expanding Force and Spiky Shield. Because we want Smeargle to be able to do its moves. They could double up my Mew. I don't know if that even KOs the Mew, but we'll see. They actually go for Follow Me to cover for Spore. So ideally, I take no damage here, and then I'm up 3-2. But granted, I still don't know if this is like a phenomenal position. We do get the Expanding Force off, and we do KO the Ogre Pond, while the Electivire not like in the greatest position. So not terrible. Yeah, not terrible at all. All right, now I can Expanding Force Spore here the next turn. Speed Rise. Very happy about that one. Very happy about that one. Okay, Calyx comes in. Beautiful. So they're probably Follow Me with Electivire, I imagine. Like, I think this has to be a Follow Me. And if it has to be a Follow Me, my best play is just to go for the Grass Pledge and the... I should go for the Swamp first, right? Or should I just try to break the Focus Sash because I have the speed boost? I think I always Terra Gnome when I go for a Fire Pledge. Nah, I go for the Water Pledge, I think. Nah, I go for the Water Pledge first. I want the speed confirmation first. So my Mew is faster than the Zamazenta in the future. I think that's worth it here. Okay, we see Terrestrialization, which is interesting. Is this Ghost Terra from the Calyrex, or are they like... Yeah, it is Ghost Terra, so this works out because they'd be going for Astral Barrage, right? Unless they're worried about me having Shadow Ball into Mew or something. That might be a reason why. I don't know. They were vulnerable to Expanding Force here for my Mew, but I guess I'll take it for sure. We will go for the normal Terra. That means Zamazenta can't Terra, which means we can get some pretty good damage into it. They go for Follow Me. Yep, exactly what we anticipated. And now we get the Pledge moves off, which is going to create the Swamp effect, which is huge for my team. Because that means my Pokemon will be faster than theirs for the entire rest. So we go for the Pledge. Get the knockout on Electivire. Goodbye, Electivire. And then we can Spore the Zamazenta. And then we can Expanding Force. Looking pretty good here. Swamp envelops their team. Oh, they went for Pollen Puff. Oh, they're Specs. Yeah, they're Specs. Okay. Unfortunately, Psychic Terrain disappears, which would have been nice to keep, but this works out really well for me. There should be Zamazenta coming in. I double up the Zamazenta. I think I always Spore the Zamazenta. I don't know what I'm doing with the Mew. I think I just protect the Mew. Or do they target down? They might target down Smeargle, though. I think we always Spore the Zamazenta. I think I always just Expanding Force the Calyrex and get the chip damage. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Nice. We get the Spore off. Huge. And get an Expanding Force off into the Calyrex. Solid damage. Pollen Puff. Yeah, it's into Smeargle. That's what I thought. Okay. Now I can Spore the Calyrex, but they're 100% attacking with the Zamazenta. Because if I go for a Spore and attacking Calyrex and they protect the Zamazenta, they just lose the game 100%. So now I think I'm just going to go for my Grass Pledge and my Fire Pledge into the Zama. Try and take that, try to build up the damage so I win the end game with my, what's it called? My Calyrex. So we are going to go for it. Let's see. How much damage should we do? The combination attack into the Zamazenta. Ooh, a lot, but not the KO. Okay, but it will go down this turn, which is important. They go for Pollen Puff into Smeargle, which is going to take the knockout, which is fine. But even if they wake up with Zama and KO my Mew, I should win the game because I do have my Calyrex Ice Rider that should be able to win here. And they stay asleep, so the game's over. Perfect. Especially with that residual damage from the Sea of Fire, like the Calyrex was going to be in range of Expanding Force now, as well as another round of Sea of Fire. So like I'd guarantee win. Again, I still have the Pledge available here, which is important because it does allow my Calyrex here, which is super threatening here. Unfortunately, it does allow it to outspeed the Shadow Rider from my opponent's side because the Pledge is 25% of their base speed. So we'll be able to go for the Glacial Lance plus the Expanding Force. But yeah, like I felt like I had the game no matter what. As long as I was getting rid of the Zamazenta in 1 or 2 turns. So yeah, it's the last turn of Swamp. So we go for the Glacial Lance, we go for the Expanding Force, and that is going to be a good game. So beautiful. I don't even know if Specs +1 Pollen Puff KOs Calyrex Ice Rider. It might. I'm not 100% certain on that, but beautiful. Beautiful. Was able to really set up a very nice position there against their team because I was expecting Shadow Rider Zama lead. They didn't lead it, which meant it was way easier to deal with their more passive Electivire Ogerpon. They gave me the damage. I was able to set up a very nice position against that combination and set up for the end game Shadow Rider plus the Zamazenta. So beautiful. Super ideal. Super ideal. Shout outs to the pledges. All right, we have Whimsicott, Groudon, Miraidon, Incineroar, Grimmsnarl, and Iron Bundle. Okay. Never have fun with these Sun teams. Dang, he crashes a lot to Mew, and I mean a lot of damage. Did I bring Rillaboom in this? Rillaboom's really bad, I feel. I think Entity is definitely better. I think I do like Mew Smeargle lead and then have Entity back in Calyrex. That's probably like the way to go. I think the only problem is the Incineroar is really tough to handle with this team. If I don't bring the Iron Boulder, I just don't know if Iron Boulder is really into Groudon Miraidon, since it's more of a very unique pairing that you don't really see commonly. I feel like I'm going to need pledges. I'm going to need to outspeed them with Cali Ice. That's kind of the goal here. Grimmsnarl plus the Miraidon. Interesting. Okay. So I have an Niddy play, and I could go for... Man, if I just like Cali Ice plus Niddy, this would have been really good. I still think that this is okay overall, but... I think the play here is to always just swap out into the Niddy and click Spore. I think that's always the play. They're probably not safety goggles on their team unless they Volt Switch into Whimsicott, but that means they brought both Grim and Whimsicott, which means it's a very supportive roster here, which can be fed to my... It can be fed to my Cali Ice. I think that would work. I gotta be careful though. I think it's Incineroar Groudon bag. Like, that's what I would assume. I see Terastallization, which is shocking. What are you Terastallizing? Grim? They terrestrialized the Miraidon into Electric. I guess they're going for the extra firepower. Maybe they're going for Electro Drift into the Mew, expecting the Smeargle to switch into Indeedee, which I guess that's fair. Go for Light Screen, so this works out pretty well for me. All mine. Wait, that's really good for me. Okay, I get the Spore off. Yeah, they trapped their Miraidon in Psychic Terrain, so they won't have they won't be able to take advantage of the terrain. So now I can just go out into Cali Ice, and I can just Spore the Grim, and I think I'm in a really good spot. Because they're going to Reflect, which I guess is fine. It's not the greatest, but it's alright. And then I'm going to build up damage. Yeah, they go for the Reflect. So should I Spore the Miraidon, or should I just Spore the Grimmsnarl slot? I think I just Spore the Miraidon slot, right? I could Spore the Grim to catch the switch, because I think Instinct comes in, but do I care about that? I don't think I do. Moody. Okay. I don't think High Horsepower will two-shot the Miraidon after Intimidate, so I think I'd rather just go for Glacial Lance to make sure I don't miss. And we just Spore the Miraidon slot. Oh, they don't switch to Instant, which is surprising. Okay, they went for a Prankster move with Grimmsnarl too, so I'm curious what they went for. Miraidon stays asleep. I mean, I get a free Glacial Lance off. I'm shocked because I could have High Horsepowered, but sure. Okay, Glacial Lance. Because they have Reflect and Light Screen up, so I don't know what else they would want to set up. That did less to Miraidon than I thought. It's leftovers, but that's fine. I don't really want to Terrasilize Cali Ice because it doesn't do anything for me here. So I'm just going to spam Glacial Lance, and I'm just going to spam Spore again. Grimmsnarl takes its second turn. I still don't know what they're trying to accomplish here. 3 turns with Miraidon, sure. I mean, we'll definitely take it. We go for the Spore attempt into the Miraidon, and we go for the Glacial Lance. Like, look at all the damage we just built up on this Miraidon. That's fantastic. And every chance is a potential another Moody boost for Smeargle. But of course, like, these stats aren't exactly the greatest. They're guaranteed to wake up here. I think I always go for Glacial Lance anyway, and I just Spore the Miraidon again. Do they not have Instant? Because I would have just switched to Instant a while ago. They wake up. They do realize that your terrain's up. What is going on? Okay, they wake up. Parabolic? Yeah, they Parabolic, which is fine. This doesn't do much to Miraidon. It'll bring my Smeargle to Sash. Yeah. They're going to get a lot of healing, but granted, I don't think it's that bad because now they're going to go to sleep again. And then I can Spore the Instant the next turn. I would like Smeargle to get one speed boost eventually, because that speed boost would be really nice for the later parts of this game. But yeah, we're stalling out the screens, and the Miraidon really hasn't accomplished too much, right? This is also a boosted Calyrex now, which is pretty mess. Oh wait, it's not boosted Calyrex, but we get a single target Glacial off. Maybe I should have high horsepower, but granted, like, this is still fine. Single target Glacial, still, yeah, it still does a ton of damage. So this is Ensign. I go for the Spore into the Ensign. Psychic Terrain disappears. Actually, that's kind of bad. Although this is Ensign, I just go Entity and click Spore, I think. Yeah. Why didn't they go Ensign earlier? I don't know why they didn't, but sure. We're clicking Swap to Entity. And we're clicking Spore into Ensign. It should not be Goggles Ensign on Miraidon. Like, they don't run that. Ideally, they click Fake Out, because if they click Fake Out, that gives me free leverage to go out into my Cali Ice. Yeah. The next turn in Trick Room. Super ideal. Again, we're stalling out the screen turns, which is massive. We get the Spore off. We can go for a Trick Room pretty safely because the Incineroar hasn't taken a sleep turn. I guess let's see if the Miraidon wakes up. Oh, now we get the speed boost. Their screen turns are wearing off. I'm trying to think of whether it's better to reposition or pledge. It might be. Because I think pledge is better than the Trick Room route now. I'm just going to Spiky Shield and go out into my Mew so I can go for the pledge and then go for the Glacial Lance once these reflect turns are over. Let's see. We're right on asleep. Ensign will be asleep. Okay. Very nice. Now we go for the pledge. Now we go for the pledge. Let's go for the Grass pledge here. It'll do a decent amount to Miraidon, but more importantly, that pledge is set up for specifically the speed advantage. All right, combination. Not bad damage, not the best, not the worst. But that swamp is very valuable. Miraidon wakes up, goes for Parabolic. Okay. Oh, this is a headache. Because I could still lose to the Miraidon very easily. All right. I wonder if I can KO Ensign with a double up. I think I can. Water Pledge high horsepower ideally KOs it. Okay, it stays asleep, which is really good. Yeah, it should, especially after the chip damage is taken. Okay, we go out into our... Yeah, especially with light screen wears off. I go out into Cali Ice. I think I go for Water Pledge and high horsepower into the Ensign. They already terrestrialized, so I don't have to worry about terrestrialization. I go for Water Pledge, high horsepower to KO the Ensign. And then throw off the powerful attacks while the rest of the pledge swamp is up. So we go for Water Pledge, because there's no way you swap out into Glacial Lance into Groudon. So we Water Pledge, high horsepower here. KO the instant. No way. There's no way you went to Groudon. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. They got me there. They got me there. Okay, Water Pledge. I guess it's for the Parabolic Charge, I suppose, but that's crazy. All right, we're in a bit of a dire spot now because they get to recover a lot of HP. Oh, this is not good. Reflect wears off at least. I think I just gotta hope that Expanding Force into the Miraidon, Glacial Lance does enough. They switch out Groudon to Instant. Yeah, that's not like too surprising. Oh, I really didn't think they would give me the Expanding Force and the high horsepower knockout into the Miraidon that turn. I really didn't. I get some good damage on Miraidon, but I just don't know if it's enough. I think I might need to pray that Instant takes 3 sleep turns, and I think that's probably the line I'm gonna have to take. So Terra Ice, Expanding Force. It should do a decent amount of damage to the Miraidon. Yep, and then Glacial. But they're gonna heal a lot, which is the problem. Yeah, they heal a lot, especially since they're targeting their own Instant. Okay, Instant I think goes down to Glacial, so it could come down to a mind game here. I think I lose. Oh my goodness. Unless I crit the Miraidon, I think there's no way. I think unless I crit Miraidon, I don't think there's a way. Like Terrain disappears, it's gonna get reset. I mean, I have full health Entity actually. Wait, hold up. If I KO the Miraidon here, I might have a chance. I really need this to KO though. We go for Helping Hand, Glacial Lance, and pray it knocks out Miraidon. If it doesn't, we lose. We switch out Instant into Groudon. Okay. They protect. No protect. All right. Helping Hand, Glacial Lance. Oko to Miraidon. Full power Cali Ice. Oh my goodness. Actually, I still don't even know if I needed the crit because the Glacial Lance did a lot last time. It did like I think over 50% before. But if there's any time to crit, thank you, Cali Ice. I don't even care anymore. Now I guarantee to win here unless they have Snarl Instant. They need to be faster than my Cali Ice and click Snarl. And I don't know the Instant or Speed tier, so I think it's still worth going for Follow Me Glacial. And if it is Snarl Instant, I'll look really silly, but I think that'd be exciting for the video, I suppose. Also, they stay asleep, so they took their 3 sleep turns. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did I expect to win this game? Heck no. After I saw the Instant actually retreat to Groudon, because I'm like, there's no way you risk the Groudon and the Glacial. They really wanted a parabolic charge, man. They really wanted it. And I'm assuming they just fund raid because it didn't matter because they expected Grim to go down that turn. But I just don't get why you wouldn't switch out an Instant in the first place. But you know what? We still somehow ended up taking that win, which I'm shocked by, but we somehow did. All right, we have Miraidon, Groudon, Grimmsnarl, Farigiraf, Ditto, and Incineroar. Okay, Ditto's interesting. Ditto is pretty interesting here. What do I want to go? Because screens is not exactly the easiest for my team to handle. I think I never bring Rillaboom. I mean, we played something similar to this, but it was very different. Especially when I didn't have to consider Ditto as an option. I kind of want to lead Mew Ditto immediately. Mew Ditto doesn't seem bad. And go for the pledge immediately. Maybe like a Sea of Fire to target the Grim and start building up the damage to put it for Cali Ice range. I kind of like that. Do I like the Smeargle? Oh wait, I can't do it with the combo of Mew plus Entity, right? I can do Expanding Force, but I don't know if that's worth it. Maybe it is just Cali Ice plus Entity lead with Mew plus Smeargle back. That's fine. I don't know if they're leaning instant. A lot of these teams, they tend to just leave Miraidon Grimmsnarl and then just Volt Switch out into instant anyway, so it's not like that big of a deal, I think. Let's see. Grimmsnarl Miraidon? Oh, Grimmsnarl Groudon. Interesting. Okay. This works. As long as this isn't some random Eruption Groudon, this works. Heat Crash knocks out my Entity, I think. But I don't have a switch anyway. Because Mew would go down to Heat Crash. Would it go down to Terrifier Heat Crash? I feel like it would take a lot of damage at the very least. I think my best play is just to attack. I think it's just attack. I think I'm just going to go for Psychic and I'm going to go for Glacial. Or should I Helping Hand here? Because I do need damage into Grim since it's a really annoying Pokemon to damage. I think I actually just go for Helping Hand plus the Glacial. I need as much damage into Grimmsnarl as I can immediately. And the chip damage into Groudon is still pretty good. Even if they go instant, it's still not like a terrible trade. I still get some pretty decent damage across the board. But this is nowhere near an easy one. Maybe I should have brought the Mighty Cleaver in the back. Which was the Iron Boulder. I just don't know if Iron Boulder really fares against this team. Especially breaking through screens. Like, I don't know how much the attack would act. They did not tear it. They're crazy. Are you Eruption? They reflected. They think it was going to follow me Trick Room? They Precipice Blaze right off the bat. Are they Terra Ground? Well, it's Terra Gone. I think this KO. It's Ice Plate. Oh, wow. That survived. Okay. I'm very confused about that decision, but I'll take it. I'm going to Terra Grass because they're probably going to Precipice Blades again. Because I want the Entity around. Or should I just go Smeargle? I could go Smeargle. I could go Smeargle here and just click Glacial, and I think that's fine. Because I want the ability to switch an Entity for Psychic Terrain, so I have the Spore Pressure, as well as, of course, the fact that I can actually, like, get rid of that Miraidon special attack damage output for my Mew. They stay in just the screens up, okay. It's fine by me. Go for Precipice Blades again, I'll tank it. What happened, though, if I click Trick Room? I thought they were going to go instant and like, attack with Groudon. Because if I go for Trick Room there in Terra Grass, well, I guess like they don't expect me to Trick Room, right? Like if they probably expected me to like sack my Entity there, but if I Terra Grass Trick Room, I think they just lose. Like I think I just spam Glacial in the Trick Room. But all right, interesting spot. That's what I'm talking about, Smeargle. Now that's a team player. That's a team player. Okay. Miraidon and oh, it's not instant. It's Ditto. Interesting. I mean, they see that I don't have Trick Room. Granted, I guess them copying the Ditto, like even transforming my Cali Ice earlier would have been a better play than sacking the Grim, I feel. I gotta be scared though. Like this could actually be like a very weird position. I think I just go for a Spiky Shield and I go for Protect. I didn't Protect the previous turn. This is pretty free unless they have setup here. The Ditto can't set up, so I don't have to worry about that. And Miraidon can do whatever. I still have a turn of screens and I get to figure out my next move here. Which I think is actually pretty valuable. Because I want to figure out if I want, like what the Ditto might lock itself into. Potentially. Electro Drift goes out into Cali Ice, sure. Icicle Spear, okay. Into this Smeargle, that's fine. I made my best place just to go Entity. Speed falls. It should only matter if it's Scarf Miraidon. I'm gonna go for a Spore into the Ditto and swap out into Indeedee. Because I assume they want to cover for the wide guard from Smeargle. If they knock out Smeargle, it's actually really not a great spot. It's really not a great spot, so I kind of hope that they KO Indeedee so I can go for the pledge into the Ditto slot. That'd be the best case scenario. But we'll see. Get a Spore off. Hopefully they KO the Indeedee. Yes. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Nice. Now they do have screens up. Do I think the Ditto, because it's Ditto and not like it's Ditto HP and we're in Sun and it's a really powerful attack in Sun. Special attack. Oh, Smeargle, why did you have to get double speed drop? I think I'd lose because of that. Oh, I guess we get one chance to get a speed rise here. Or we crit the Kali Ice, as they say, asleep with the Fire Pledge. But I was really hoping to get the Fire Pledge off because I think the Fire Pledge would have ensured the victory. Like, I just needed that one speed raise. I just needed that one, man. I got rewarded because I switched into Smeargle and kept the Indeedee around so I could get the Psychic Terrain and get the Spore off. Oh. I guess if I just Trick Roomed, I would have probably won too. But I mean, I guess, like, it wasn't Ints in the back. But I wasn't sure if it was Ditto in the back by the way they were playing either. Okay, we see terrestrialization. What is the terrestrialization here? They terrestrialize the Miraidon into electric. Okay. I need the Ditto to stay asleep, and I need a speed boost here. I really need the speed boost. Oh, it's Snarl. Okay. I'm faster. Oh, that did a lot, actually. Okay, they're still asleep, which is good, at least. Defense. That doesn't help. I think I gotta hope for a 3-turner. I gotta hope for a 3-turner. The Sun faded, so I can't KO the Ditto now with Fire Pledge unless I crit. I might as well just go for Wide Guard here and I just go for Expanding Forest and get some chip onto the Miraidon. Because it will do okay damage to the Kali Ice too. Oh, man. I just gotta hope that they Snarl and make the mistake again. But they really shouldn't. Yeah, they Electric Drift. This is in a Smeargle? Yeah. I think it's very likely over. Maybe. I guess. Well, we don't know if it's Scarf on the Kali or not. I suppose. We need to return sleep though. It doesn't go down to the next Expanding Forest. It wakes up too. It's over. Wait. Oh, they Glacialed. I don't think that changes anything though. Yeah, it probably doesn't change anything realistically. If I can call it a Miraidon target, maybe. I don't think Fire Pledge knocks out the Kali Ice though. Which turns to Psychic Terrain 2. Oh no, I think they're gonna target the Kali Ice. If they target the Mew, it's cooked. But yeah, like this was already pretty bad. I guess we just Fire Pledge, protect, and then we Expanding Forest and just hope for a crit. I think so. I think we just go for a Fire Pledge, hope that we can KO. Also, if they Electric Drift my Mew, it's probably a Solvest Miraidon, so hopefully we can live that if that's the case. But it's still pretty bad. Oh, they also aren't. Well, we knew it wasn't Scarf, but yeah, it's over. They did that? I should have went for the speed type with Cali Ice and just went for Glacial. Mew did survive, but it's over. Okay, maybe it's not over. We double crit with something. We double crit with something. I don't even know if the crit would KO the Cali Ice realistically. But I'm going for all in crit something. Double crit something. Where there's a crit, there's a way. I will go for the crit. I will go for the crit. Oh my goodness. They crit me. Crit them back, Cali. Win the speed tie against this and crit back. Unfort. Was I lucky to get the speed boost? I had a few turns to get it. It was really unlucky to get double speed drop though, because I think the position, grass pledge, fire pledge, the ditto, win. Because I wouldn't have had to worry about ditto. The power of the sun would have probably allowed me to KO, especially with the Sea of Fire activation. I think it would have been a really solid end game. Unfortunately, Moody is that ability. It can be lucky, but unlucky sometimes. But yeah, unfortunately, I had to get 2 speed drops in a row, man. It had to be 2, but that's how it goes sometimes. All right, we have Basculegion, Snorlax, Ogerpon, Heartflame, Tornadus, Zamazenta, Miraidon. Snorlax is interesting. Basculegion's pretty interesting. You want to assume it's some adaptability set? Yeah, this is going to be something, all right. I don't know what that something is, but we'll see how it goes. I think the lead here is probably going to be... Do I want to bring... The thing is, do I even like Cali Ice here? Because Cali Ice is just so awkward against this team. It is really weird. I could go with... Because rock coverage is actually pretty decent, but I don't know. It's also... It could be Thick Fat Snorlax as well. Oh, jeez. I think I do Mew plus Smeargle, which is pretty solid for the most part. Bring Rillaboom in the back and have the Cali Ice last. Could be the Iron Boulder, but I'm not 100% certain. I think this is fine. I'm not 100% sure what I'm supposed to do because there are quite some unique threats here that I am not used to seeing, like Miraidon plus Torn and the Zamazenta is not like too surprising. The others though, I don't know what the support cast is supposed to do. Snorlax plus the Zamazenta, interesting. Okay. Versus my Smeargle and my Mew. So I do have access to Spore. I could also go for the Pledge immediately, which I am kind of tempted to go for the Pledge. Get some really strong chip damage, I suppose. I could Spore here. I could Spiky Shield. There's a lot that I could do. I kind of like going for the Grass Pledge, I think, because if I get the Grass Pledge, then I could go for like Spore, swap to Rilla the next turn if they decide to go Miraidon here, which I don't think is a bad option. So I think I'm going to go for the Water Pledge, and I am going to go for the Grass Pledge as well into the Snorlax. All right, they just go for the Body Press immediately, which I was hoping they would... Well, I thought they were going to Heavy Slam to cover for Terra Ghost, potentially, but I guess that's all right. I do get the Grass and the Water Pledge. This is going to allow for the Swamp to take out. And that's going to be pretty huge. But let's see. That actually does a pretty significant amount of damage, actually, to the Snorlax. Why did that do a lot? That did a lot, actually. We're going to see Yawn come out into the Mew. Okay, I don't mind that too much. Yeah, so I do threaten the Fast Spore here. I think I would probably want to just go Cali Ice here for my Mew. No speed drop? Okay, no speed drop, which is nice. Yeah, I could just go out into Cali Ice pretty safely, and I can go for a Spiky Shield here. Then I do threaten the Spore as an option, which I think is pretty good here. I'm going to go for the Spiky Shield. It does cover a lot of the options that they can go for. Sure, could they go for Yawn again? I'd be kind of surprised. I guess they wouldn't probably go Miraidon here because of the electric terrain, but granted, I don't think that's a risk I really want to take. And because I can outspeed and go for the Spore, it could maybe force a Terra Grass out of the Zama potentially. So we're gonna bring out our Kali Ice, and you know, it is good in a good offensive position for the most part here. And Spike a Shield with Smeargle. Let's see, is this like Heavy Slam Yawn? They protect actually, which is really good for me. Okay. Did they target Smeargle? Oh, they double protected because they wanted to catch a Yawn. Okay, that's really good for me. That is really good for me. Because now I can go for like a Spore and a Zamazenta plus Glacial Lance, which is pretty effective here. Special Defense Rise. Defense Fall, that doesn't matter. Okay, perfect. Or I could go for Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear also works here. And I kind of like the idea of Icicle Spear because Zamazenta is most likely always staying in. I'm going to Icicle Spear to Snorlax and Spore the Zama because this punishes Miraidon switching in a wide guard. So I'm going to Spore the Zamazenta and I'm going to go for Icicle Spear into the Snorlax to cover for the Miraidon switch. They might not know about like the Spore potential, but I feel like you should be scared of Spore Smeargle, but we'll see. We'll see. I do think it's probably Thick Fat Snorlax though, which means that I'm doing less damage with my Icicle Spear, which is a bit unfortunate, but that is what it is. Oh, we see a Terra Commitment, which is interesting. Is this Zamazenta? No, Snorlax. Into what? Oh, they thought I was going to Spore the Snorlax. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Spore the Zamazenta? Good night. And here's the Icicle Spear. Let's see. It should be Thick Fat. Looks like I'll KO potentially. Oh, I don't think I'm KO unless I get like a 5-hitter. Oh, and I forgot I'm not loaded dice. I'm ice. I'm Icicle Plate. I forgot. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, they go for Yawn. Huh. Okay. Interesting. I don't even think this is that bad for me. No, I don't think this is that bad for me. Speed Rise is nice. Not necessary, but that's very nice. I wish I went for Glacial now. I completely forgot I'm Ice Plate. We go out into Mew here and we just Spiky Shield again. Yeah. I don't think you're going to Yawn. You could Yawn, I suppose, and just ignore the Smeargle slot for eternity, I suppose. I don't know if you really want to do that, but that is an option, I suppose. But yeah, I wish I had Follow Me on the Smeargle, which could help if that's the case. But yeah, we're going to swap into our Mew and try to get this pledge up because we're going to go for the Fire and the Grass pledge and get some residual now. Zama takes its second turn of sleep, which is nice. And what did the Snorlax do? It did Yawn the Mew slot. Okay. I think they're just going to spam Yawn for eternity, so that's kind of unfortunate for me. But yeah, I am going to go for a... I think I'm just going to go for the... Oh, the Swamp disappeared, but it doesn't matter because I had the speed boost from my Smeargle, so that's not that big of a deal. I can go for the Fire pledge and the Grass pledge now and set up the Sea of Fire. I don't think they're going to protect the Snorlax, but I would like the damage into the Zamazenta, I think, because it would actually be some pretty respectable chip damage. So I think I am going to go for it. Okay, nice. No protects. I do get the Grass pledge and the Fire pledge off. This should do some pretty decent damage to the Zamazenta since it's a pledge move. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? That KOs? If I knew that, I would have gone for a turn 1. They went for Yawn into the Mew. That makes sense. Yeah, Fire is gonna burn that Snorlax. Leftovers. Unfortunately, Mew's gonna be asleep before Miraidon comes out, so I won't have the terrain. But I mean, that's a pretty dang good turn. Another Speed Rise on the Smeargle because they've been playing very passive against the Smeargle. All right, this should be Miraidon. Yeah. So my best play is just to go out into Rillaboom and click Spore, right? Yeah, it's my best place to go out into Rillaboom and click Spore. Unless they protect, unless they swap out Miraidon, those are very likely, but I wouldn't be surprised too much. But we do go Rillaboom and we click Spore into the Miraidon, and then I'm assuming Snorlax is going to try to take the knockout into Smeargle, which means I get a free Glacial Lance off into my opponent, and I think that's huge. If they protect, that's amazing for me. If they protect, that's amazing for me. I don't know what's going on, man, but this is cinema right here. This is cinema. We're getting some very good residual damage. We're getting some very, very good residual damage with the Sea of Fire. That puts Snorlax into range of U-turn, I imagine. Okay. The only problem is I'm still very strange about how we approach Heartflame Ogerpon. Heartflame Ogerpon's really terrifying in the back. Yeah, we go for a U-turn into the Snorlax. I don't have... It's just, how do I just don't know how I'm setting up against the Ogerpon. That's the only question. I think we always Spiky Shield because we want to keep the speed up, and if they decide, hey, to wake up with Miraidon, I can put it back to sleep, so that works out. I wish I had a Defensive Terra on Kali Ice though. A Defensive Terra would be huge here. But we go for the U-turn into Snorlax. It actually doesn't pick up the knockout, which I don't know if they yawned the Rillaboom or they're finally going to take the knockout at Smeargle, because it's been something I've been trying to figure out here. But we go out into Kali Ice, I think. Maybe I should have went to Mew in case this was Yawn, but we'll find out. They do wake up with the Miraidon. They go for Electric Drift into the Smeargle, so they're taking shit, which is beautiful. I feel like if they had Ogerpon, they would have switched into Ogerpon already. They do go for the Yawn, so that's smart by them. Okay. Sea of Fire. Does it KO the Lax? I feel like... Does it? Okay, it does. Interesting. Moment of Truth is going to be the Ogerpon, I guess. I just have no idea if Kali Ice can survive the attack from the Ogerpon. That's the only question. I wish I had redirection on this Smeargle, but don't have access to it. Okay. What is your last? Is it the Ogerpon? Or is it like Basculegion? It is the Basculegion. Okay. I feel like that means I have a really good endgame then. Yeah, I think I have a really good endgame. Because I think I always go for a Glacial Lance and a Spore. I have a feeling do I think they both have Protect? I think it's super unlikely. I feel like they probably Aqua Jet here. I feel like they Aqua Jet, they have it, or they're Scarf Basculegion. In that case, Smeargle outspeeds the Basculegion. So I'm going to go for Spore into the Basculegion, and I'm going to go for Glacial Lance. Because I just need to put that Basculegion into range of my Scarf Rillaboom, which is like the key part. Like, I'm expecting one of these Pokemon, if not potentially both, not to have Protect. So I think they have to go on the offense if they don't have Protect, because they can't afford to. And as long as I get the Glacial Lance off, I feel like I'm in a good spot, but we'll see. Nice. Huge. Huge. Get that Spore off into Basculegion. Miraidon can't one-shot my Calyx Ice Rider. They go for the Electric Drift into the Smeargle. But once I get rid of this Miraidon, I should win, right? I'm pretty sure Rillaboom wins guaranteed. Did they terrestrialize? They terrestrialized the Snorlax earlier, so it can't terrestrialize out of that. It's Life Orb Miraidon, so it might have had Protect. But I think the Basculegion... Well, it's not Scarf. What set are you? We do go for the Glacial Lance, because Miraidon outspent the Basculegion. That is crazy damage. To Basculegion. I guess Basculegion doesn't have the greatest defense in the world, so even resisted, but still. That did a little bit more than I was anticipating. But then again, I guess I do have the Ice Plate. But that pledge, building up more damage into the Basculegion, but realistically, the game's over at this point. We do have our Rillaboom that is pretty much set and secure to win this endgame. and Sea of Fire disappears from the team. But yeah, we just go out into our Rillaboom and we just click the Wood Hammer, right? There's not much that they can do there. They also have to wake up and a bunch of other factors. So I think all I have to do is just go for Glacial Lands, go for Wood Hammer, and the game is pretty much set. As Bao is going to be forfeited. I am shocked we knocked out the Zamazenta. I am shocked we knocked out the Zamazenta, but we will take it. All right, let's go over the games. In game one, I have no idea what to have expected, but let me just say Iron Boulder, I guess, did something. Mighty Cleave was able to break through this entire team and do a ton of damage to my opponent. And yeah, it was really hard for my opponent to stop, apparently. In game two, double bike action with Miraidon Koraidon, but didn't expect him to allow me to take the knockout into the Koraidon immediately with the expanding force. After that, it was just like a straightforward path where it was able to be very nicely set up in the end. In game three, not the lead I expected with Electivire and Ogerpon, but was able to handle it with ease and then set up a great position with the pledges for the end game against the restricted Pokemon. In game four, Calm Mind Miraidon. Sure, I really did not expect them to go for the Incineroar, switching out to Groudon, even for the Parabolic Charge, because I think Miraidon was threatened by a knockout and that would have been pretty big. But they got me there and it was looking pretty dire until the helping hand, the Glacial Lance, was able to knock out the Miraidon with the crit. I don't know if the crit was absolutely necessary because it looked like it would have been really close based on the previous damage, but luckily Cali Ice was able to come in clutch towards the end. In game 5, felt the game lead was a great start, right? I was able to get a huge amount of damage, KO both Pokemon without taking too much, and was looking pretty good, especially with the speed boost on the Smeargle. Unfortunately, losing both of the speed boosts was really bad because I only needed to get that speed boost so I can outspeed the Miraidon and just go for the pledges into the Ditto, which would have helped secure the end game. Unfortunately, because of the speed drop, I was in a really rough spot, got a few turns wrong, and unfortunately wasn't able to break through the Ditto under screens next to the Asolvis Miraidon. In game 6, I was not expecting to OHKO Zamazenta through pledge, which is absolutely insane. Also, what the heck was this team? It had a Snorlax, a Basculegion, which was pretty crazy to say. Luckily, they Terra Grassed the Snorlax. I completely forgot about the Icicle Spear not being a loaded dice set, so that I kind of blundered that one. I should have just went for Glacial Lance, apparently, but you know what? I was able to get the knockouts I needed, especially with the Cali Ice, and thankfully it wasn't Ogerpon Heartflame in the back, because Ogerpon Heartflame would have absolutely been a troublesome mon to deal with. But across the board, was able to get some pretty good damage knocking out the Zamazenta, and the Snorlax was a bit annoying, but I was able to play around it and then set up a nice KO into the Miraidon with the Glacial Lance. So how was the team? It's a really cool team. I did not expect the pledges to really do that much until I researched it. And apparently if you use a combination move of pledges, you always get the same type attack bonus, even if you aren't a type, which explains why the pledge was doing so much damage. I didn't know that. I was like, wait, that doesn't seem right, but it actually is. So that's absolutely absurd to me. And it really is a powerful combination. I felt like the team had a lot of cool techs. Specifically the Mew and Smeargle I thought was like a super neat one, and the combination of the Indity with the Psychic Terrain allowed me to go for Expanding Force. Was it the best otherwise? Like, you know, it was a really fun team. I don't know about Iron Molder because I just don't really use this Pokemon. Maybe it could have put in more work, but I wasn't 100% certain. However, Mew was absolutely a fun Pokemon. I would definitely try again. If you'd like to use it, the rental code is on your screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time the video comes out. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.